All right, so this is part two of us finding our part, whole, and percent using equivalent fractions. So part one was just our first question. Part two is going to be question number two, and then part three will be the last question for our examples for the video. So it says, out of 25 students in Mrs. Green's class, 15 of them have a pet. So what percent of the students in Mrs. Green's class have a pet? So I'm going to go back and I see that it says out of 25 students in Mrs. Green's class, 15 have a pet. So that's letting me know that not all of 25 students have a pet. Okay? So not all 25 students have a pet. So as I'm thinking about this, I need to be asking myself always these three important questions. What is my part? What is my whole? And what is my percent? So what is my part? Well, it's 15 because like I said, only 15 of those students have a pet. What is my whole? 25 students in Mrs. Green's class. And what is my percent? We don't know because it says what percent. That lets me know in the question. I'm trying to figure out what is a percent. All right. So now I'm going to create a fraction. I'm going to take this piece out. My two numbers, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to have for my part 15 and my whole 25. Okay. So I'm going to take that out and I'm going to simplify this fraction. Now, I'm going to simplify this fraction by finding the greatest common factor that they share in common. So the greatest common factor they share in common is 5. So I'm going to divide both of those by 5. And then that is how I get 3/5. Okay. Now I'm going to use this new simplified reduced fraction to figure out the missing piece of what is the percent of the class that has a pet. Okay, so we should know that percent is always out of 100. So when creating my new equivalent fraction on the right, I'm going to set it to the denominator as 100. All right. So now I need to figure out what factor do I use to get from, I multiply by 5 to get to 100. And so that should be times 20 because 5 times 20 is 100. So that means that whatever I use on the denominator, I need to use that same factor on the numerator. So 3 times 20 gives me 60%. So that lets me know that only 60% of the class has pets. All right. So this is part 2. Get ready for part 3 in a second.